All right, everybody. Just moments after Fierce Fighting Championship 28, Blake O'Rulian alongside Zach Partridge. Zach, you told me that there's always a lot of questions and people always have a lot of questions for you, which is what inspired this idea. Tell us just a little bit more about what you're planning to do here tonight.
Just go over the card, if there's any things that's the obvious things that kind of stand out. Everybody wants to know why Kent didn't fight, had his moment. Just kind of the obvious, go over kind of the obvious stuff. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to kick things off in the first fight of the night. Carson Craig able to get the win over Nick Jackson, but Nick Jackson put up kind of a bigger fight than you would think out of a debuter who is relatively new to the sport.
Good athlete. I think Carson's experience won him that fight. Experience, toughness, just a little bit more technical. Did a very good job. Nick, good spirits after. It was cool. He'll be back, I think.
What did he say to you after?
He just said thanks for the opportunity. I think that's the most common thing that fighters say to me walking out of the cage, win or lose, thanks for the opportunity. So, everybody has something to grow from, and I hope we see Carson again.
What a way to kick off your amateur debut in the Maverick Center. Carson Craig, obviously a slick submission, showcasing that in his fight. All right, on top of that, Ricky Mamone, Matthew Chenault. That was competitive and no feeling out process whatsoever. Zach, Ricky Mamone continues to improve. My goodness, he looked good tonight.
He looked significantly better, I would say, than his previous two fights. Matthew, you could just tell his jiu-jitsu acumen and just kind of the things he was trying to do in that high rubber guard and things like that. But Ricky got finished with the triangle in his first fight here, and Matthew, was trying to go for it, and Ricky shut it all down, and you could see where he's growing and getting better. He did some things that you just go, I think he's special. I think Ricky's special. I think he has some special abilities, and my goodness, can he hit hard.
Good luck trying to find someone for him. I assume it's going to be very difficult to find some matchmaking.
Oh, we'll find someone.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
He's a whole lot of fun. On top of that, speaking of a whole lot of fun, Viliami Kulu besting Caden Bentley. Viliami Kulu, 3-1 on the year. He continues to impress people. His only loss is to the best guy in the country this year.
Yeah, and people, Dana White always says I don't make fights the night of the fight, and I can't make anybody fight anywhere else. But I think getting 2 wins back, and I believe Shaler has at least 1 win since he fought Kulu. I think that Kulu Shaler Ladd fight makes the most sense for Kulu, and props to Caden Bentley for, again, I've said it multiple times, he asked for this fight. Good on him. He came in. Caden said, "Wow, he hits hard." He does. I think it was an eye opener for Caden. I think that was the first time somebody legitimately put him down, and he's a tough kid, but I think Kulu's just on a different level right now.
Talon Carvalho faces off against Moses Oslin, and Talon Carvalho just continues to impress. And when you bring along the idea that this guy has only been fighting for 10 months, the sky's the limit for this kid.
Super athlete, right? Moses, I think he was as tough as he could be. Did some things that the fight, I think, ended a little earlier than it could have, but I just think some inexperience kind of cost him in that position. I mean, he went down, but, covering up. His coach said, dude, you just can't cover up like that. The ref's going to stop the fight. Talon called for his title shot, 3 first-round finishes, pretty decisively, all 3. Matt Lawson has a fight here in December in another promotion at home, and then we'll be looking to bring him back to defend his title. I already offered a title fight to somebody, but if that doesn't work out, I think Talon makes the most sense. So I would hope that he would maybe take 1 more fight while waiting for that to play out. But if anything happens, yeah, I mean, Talon's right there. He's going to be to the point where nobody's going to fight him unless the title's on the line.
I saw your eyes open when he called for the title shot. I'm just curious of your thoughts when you initially heard that.
I love it. I mean, I love it. I do think he's earned it, and I think he's a worthy opponent for Matt. The guy that I offered it to, he asked for it a month ago. We're working on it, and we'll see what happens. But is Talon deserving? Yes, absolutely, he's deserving. Is it going to happen? I don't know. If not, though, freak. If that one doesn't happen, talent can have it as far as I'm concerned.
Amy Moreno captures the 105 atom weight title. She was unbelievable in there, Zach. Her striking was second to none.
One thing that was really interesting to me about that fight is I feel like Mina has started slow in a couple of her fights that I've seen. The last time when she lost to Ludi, she lost the first round, but then she started doing the adjustments in the second round, and then I think she was winning the third before she lost that fight. This fight, I was very impressed with Amy's timing on the feet. It seemed like she was just one step ahead of where Mina was. I thought Mina showed incredible toughness in that fight, and like, we all love Mina here. Like, she embodies everything that's good in MMA here in Utah. She's a great ambassador for women's MMA. I'm sure her and her team will go talk about what's next, but she's always welcome here. Win, lose, or draw, we love Mina. She's like a girl, and I thought that was the correct decision that her coaches threw in the towel essentially between rounds and said she's done. I think that was a correct decision because Mina's too tough for her own good, I think.
Toughness and comebacks seem to be the theme of the night. We had a whole lot of them. That was one of the first. We're going to talk about this next one. Ryder Campo, back after 7 years away. Looked like he hasn't skipped a beat, getting the win over Cross Hughes.
I've always said ring rust lies, within the eyes of the beholder. If you believe in ring rust, if you believe in it, it's probably a thing, and if you don't, you don't. And Ryder looked incredible. Cross is so tough. Like, we knew how tough he was. Like, he's one of those guys, like, we've kind of always seen him as a front runner, and then in his couple fights, and then we saw him have to overcome a little bit of adversity. But I can't remember off the top of my head, but, like, I think he was down 2 rounds, and I think he won the third.
He did.
And, you want to talk about a dog. Like, his leg was getting eaten up. He just, I feel like he just had a hard time pulling the trigger a little bit with that right hand. He never found that uppercut that he loves. Ryder's distance control was so good. Ryder was just on a different level tonight. And for Cross, as how active he was this year, he's someone that I just feel like will absolutely get better from that. And now Ryder, it's like nobody would fight him for 4 shows. Amateur or pro, they wanted to see him show up after the long layoff. He'd had a couple pullouts, whatever. Dude, I mean, I don't know if it'll be easier or harder to find him a fight now. He looked incredible.
He was unbelievable.
He was electric. I mean, he really was confident, smooth, calm, collected, talking. I mean, he was in total control of that whole time. Even when he was losing the round on his back, he was fine.
I do want to mention about Cross Hughes. We mentioned it on the broadcast, and their fight will be up on our YouTube by tomorrow. But Cross Hughes did not wear any of the damage. You wouldn't know that he had taken so much damage throughout that fight. Ryder Campo was dominant in his own right, but Cross Hughes is just as tough as they come. All right, we're going to talk about Jackson DeGray, Kevin Guo. So much fun for as long as it lasted. I said it on the broadcast as well. We're just gonna have to see who lands on the button first, and it was Jackson DeGray.
It was Kevin. He dropped Jackson in the first round. He dropped him, and I had a perfect view of Jackson's eyes. His eyes rolled. Kevin hurt him, and I don't know if people expected that, but as advertised, everybody talked about Kevin's. Everybody talked about Kevin's boxing and how good it was. Jackson.
Kevin's boxing was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. Like, so sharp. Like, the last fight didn't last long enough to fully display his skill set. It's one of those times where I think it's like, in a loss, your stock still goes up. Congratulations to Jackson DeGray, and we have a special treat to announce. I don't make fights on fight night, right? We got to get it under contract and do everything like that. I've already gotten a yes from coaches on his next fight. I think we'll be seeing Jackson DeGray very, very soon, and it's going to be very, very fun.
Oh, man, I cannot wait for that one. All right, we're going to jump over to the main card. Maddie Meacham facing off against Annabelle Kelly. Annabelle Kelly gets it done in the pro debut.
Yeah, I mean, Maddie just couldn't get her offer, right? Once she got to the mount and, like, we got in those, grappling, they got in the grappling exchanges. Annabelle Kelly did a fantastic job of just getting in a dominant position and staying there, and Maddie just didn't have an answer for that tonight. very, very interesting. And I'm close with Maddie. She's one of my teammates. But about what we're talking to the next fight, like 0-4 doesn't mean it's the end of everything, right? And she can still learn and she can still grow. So, yeah, and Annabelle Kelly, she did a fantastic job tonight. Coming into enemy territory, we talked about it on the podcast. Like, she's always done that, and I think she was comfortable with that, and she did a very good job tonight.
How were Maddie's spirits after the fight?
Good.
Yeah. Good.
Like, she's Maddie. She's always happy. I'm sure she's disappointed. She's a competitor, of course, but yeah, she did a fantastic job. And you're always proud of your friends. Like, they just come and give max effort, they try your best, and like, what else can you ask for somebody?
I think it's safe to say 2 comeback of the year contenders, both on this very card. The main event, obviously, but one of the biggest moments and one of the greatest feel-good moments of the entire year. Raymond Lawley coming in, facing off against Teague Vigil. Teague Vigil 0-4. Raymond Lawley, a top 2 fighter coming out of SBG Idaho, and Teague Vigil gets it done.
Dude, I had people, this was one of the matchups that people were like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this to Teague? And I'm like, if everybody's sleeping on him, like, he can absolutely win this fight. I said it on the podcast. I know I told it to you in private. Like, Teague can absolutely win this fight. And, I think he still sticks his chin too high up in the air. And Ray did find it and had him hurt. But, Teague, he's a 2-time state championship wrestler. What do we know about wrestlers? They're tough as nails. Like, Teague was tough, and, he this time, when Ray took the back, he didn't get rear naked choked. He learned, he grew, and he got to his roots, and he wrestled. And he threw that knee and hurt Raymond and got right back to his wrestling for the finish. Could not be happier for Teague. I know Ray's super disappointed, but, he'll be just fine. He's young. He has a lot of talent. He has a lot of natural ability. He has a good team behind him. I think Ray will be just fine. But fantastic night for Teague Vigil.
A barn burner from bell to bell for sure. We're going to talk about this one. Kesley Collard facing off against Hava Nathan Owens. Nathan Owens getting it done by decision.
This is going to be my fight of the night. I think, Nate said it pretty good in his post-fight interview. Like, it's a fight that everybody kind of was looking forward to, and they knew that their paths would cross at some point. Again, Kesley has gone 1-2 this year in the Fierce Cage, but he has 9 rounds of probably the most exciting. He's probably the most exciting fight of the year, and other than the main event tonight, it's probably fair to say he has the best chin in Fierce. Incredible toughness from Kesley. I think there's just, he just struggled. I don't think I don't think you could take away anything from the win from Nate from the eye poke, but that stuff affects your range and your striking too. So interesting, but hats off to Nate Owens and his team. That was the fantastic performance and a fantastic win.
All right, talking about fantastic wins, another feel-good moment. Eric Iman, 45 years of age, facing off against the much younger and tough Jesse Salmon. Eric Iman besting Jesse Salmon in what was just an unbelievable fight, Zach.
Some people just want to fight and some people don't, and Jesse Salmon's one of those guys that just wants to fight. He never asked how much heavier Eric Iman was going to be. I even said, hey, just so you know, he's going to be well over 260 pounds more than likely. Are you sure? You're only weighing like 205, 206 pounds right now. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And dude, he comes in and gives 100. And there was some wrestling exchanges that were unreal for 2 heavyweights. Unreal.
The sweeps, the reversals,
it was
unbelievable.
It was so good. And I just think that the weight difference made all the difference in the world, especially in those. Jesse wasn't in a fight camp. He took the fight on a week's notice. And as promised, when he's healthy and ready to go, he will get a fight back here at the Maverick Center on a full camp at 205 pounds, maybe 185, who knows. Whatever he wants, he gets it. When you're a man like that and just step up. And good spirits after, too. I love Jesse. Really happy for Eric, obviously. That was a cool fight for the night.
What do you think happens in terms of the forecast for Eric Iman? 45 years old, coming off a huge win. You think he comes back? How do you feel about that?
I think he wants to, But at 45, and, you know, I think you say the right things and you'll say whatever you have to get through a camp, right? I mean, if I'm being honest, if somebody called me and asked me, that's a perfect way to retire. That's a perfect way to retire. It was a good performance. It was a worthy opponent, good record. You know, co-main event. You didn't just beat some bum, like, you know, like tough fight. Hard circumstances for you too. Switch of opponents a week out. That's a great fight to retire on, but only him and his team can make that decision. So I guess we'll talk and he'll see how he feels and sees what he wants to do next. I'm not his coach. I'm not his dad. I'm not his family member. I don't get to make those decisions.
Certainly we'll be cracking a microphone, though, at the top of 2024
Absolutely.
with us. We love him on the broadcast. All right, main event, Cam Chisholm facing off against Zeke Latu. An odd one. I think it's fair to say a controversial one. The broadcast was talking about it. An odd one, Zach. A little head scratcher here.
I mean, if you're you know, first off, hats off to Cam. Insane toughness. Like, he never quit. At the same time, though, if you're Zeke and his camp and his team, you might want to ask, like, short of putting somebody's lights out, like, what more do you have to do to get a fight stopped? I thought Zeke did more damage to Cam than Annabelle did to Maddie. Same ref, got the fight stopped. I'm not a ref. I'm not a judge. We don't have any control with that. I'm interested to hear back from the commission on their thoughts of how they feel about it. Hindsight's always 20/20. I do give the benefit of the doubt to the refs. I've been in, like, not in MMA, but in other sports, I've been a referee. Like, it's hard when you're not in those shoes. It's easy to armchair quarterback referees, just like it is coaches, players, fighters, whatever. Disappointing. Hope to get a medical update on Zeke after for the fans that saw. He was carried out in a stretcher. I think it was just fatigue. I hope that's all it is. Hope it was speedy recovery. And, you know, Cam Chisholm, really interesting. He's told me before he's not interested in fighting Kent. Kent's like, is he next? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. If he wants it, you know, that's 2 fights in a row. He's back to 5-5. But at the same time, too, I mean, Cam's told me before, no thanks to Kent. I'm not interested in going for the belt for you guys. And then he said after, I guess I'm going to light heavyweight. He goes, these heavyweights hit too hard. And I'm just like, dude, you're 265 pounds. You ain't getting down to 205. So, I don't know. We'll see. But great way to cap off the card. Great way to cap off the year. And 2024 is going to be a blast.
I got one more question for you. I just want to give you the floor, clear the air about what happened with the main event. We got word just moments before the card started, Zach.
Yeah, it sucked. You know, Darian, all transparency, Darian pulled me aside after weigh-ins, said that he'd been sick earlier in the week. Hadn't been feeling well. Things were going on, but he said he was on the up. He felt like he was on the uptick and should be good to go. So if I'm being totally honest and candid, I thought that it's possible that, you know, not knowing Darian, I know him to be everything I know him to be as a competitor and everything, but, you know, maybe laying the groundwork for an excuse of why he lost, if he lost tonight. That was possible. You know, he had a cold, you know, like he was sick, had a cold. Woke up this morning and just didn't really feel like he was going to be able to go. So we got him over to IV team, got him an IV, got him all the feel goods. Said, you know, try everything, man. Called me again around noon. Said, man, I'm still not feeling good. I was like, well, I can't find a replacement at this point. I made him say, I'm not doing it. It's not, he kept saying things like, I don't think I can. I don't know. And I was like, well, you better be sure, because this is a huge fight for your career. This is a huge fight for Kent's career. It's a main event. You know, most prestigious weight classes, the heavyweight weight class, like, it's everything. I'm going to make sure you're 100% sure. I try to give him the pep talks, whatever. I don't really think he ever mentally got to the point where he could come fight tonight. And when it came time to come to the arena, he just said, yeah, I'm not coming. So can't make somebody fight. Once his decision was made, it was made. And, you know, I wish him the best of luck going forward. He told Kent he would pay for his own way to come back out and fight him again. And you know, I heard somebody from Kent's corner team support system that said, "Yeah, let's do it, let's beat him." And then there's some people that are like, "No, he missed his opportunity. Like, kick rocks." The ball's in Kent's court. Whatever he wants to do, I'm willing to do for him. If we're going to move on, we're going to move on. If he wants to bring Darian back, I'll let Darian pay for his own way and come back. That's up to Kent.
2023 has been unbelievable, Zach. From January up till now, I remember having a conversation with you right after January, and you said, this is going to be the biggest year, and I think you have done that in such a great way.
We did.
We did.
The whole team. We did. It's not a me thing. This is everybody from me to you to Jackson Hoops to Sage and Champneys to Amanda Bessinger to the owner Cody Bunderson for making it all happen, and everybody else that's a part of this team that puts these shows on and makes it happen. We did it.
It's been so much fun. Just final thoughts, little preview into 2024. Number one thing you're looking forward to. Dana White always says, imagine what we're going to do next year. I'm sure you have a similar sentiment.
We might be kicking off the year with one of the coolest things ever, event-wise. I'm just waiting for the contracts to come back on our main event for January 27th in Idaho Falls, but it's a title fight, and it's going to involve a UFC vet. It's freaking sick. February here at the Maverick Center, the stars are aligning for it to be the biggest card ever. Like, pros, Amis. I mean, you think about all the people that fought tonight could be returning in February plus some. Get your tickets. It's fun.
Get your tickets. 2024 coming in hot. This post-card reaction is brought to you by Water and Wellness. Change your water, change your life. For the final time in 2023, thank you all so much for listening. We will see you all next year.